It's the Brad and John Show.
The Brad and John Show. Today's date is March 4th. It's a Tuesday. This is C Block, Charlie Block, which means we start at about 7:40. Okay, Ron Hicks. I believe this was the guy that I'm going to identify him. If I said to you, he was a state rep and he owned Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants, does that sound familiar? Do you know?
Yeah, I learned that from you, Brad, on our show about a year ago, and I looked it up. He has been gone from the state legislature for 2 years.
Okay. And does that make sense? Did you see that he owned Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants?
No, I did not see that. I take that at face value. Now,
Okay.
We do have listeners who are listening to the show right now that know Ron Hicks and could probably confirm if that's true or not.
And if you know that, you know John's number. John has this super secret number that he gives out to nobody, but except all, like John, like sometimes John will get a text on his phone that comes up in orange, and that means that's President Trump who's sending something to John. So that's the orange text line. So anyway, Ron Hicks told the story.
Yeah, it is KFC. I just took 10 seconds to Google it, and yes, they own and operate KFCs.
Okay. He told the story about how during COVID, his profit increased. And a couple different things. You think like, okay, why would it increase? And he says primarily because they closed the dining room. Now, I know of places in the St. Louis area. Matter of fact, there's a pretzel place out in St. Charles. You know this pretzel place right across from Walmart?
It's right off of, Jungerman. It's right on Jungerman, right? Like Jungerman and what is that, Harvester?
Right. No, it's on Jungerman. It's between 364 and Old Highway 94. It's across the street from the Wally World.
Old Highway 94. Yeah, correct. Across from Walmart. Yep.
Across from the Wally World. Okay. They no longer let you inside. It's drive-through only. You can't go inside. Okay, Ron Hicks told the story that when COVID shut them down, they still had the drive-through going, that his profit increased because of two different things. He didn't serve as many customers because of the fact that, it was limited to the number of people in the drive-through, but he could run the restaurant with less employees, and more importantly, he didn't have all the theft in the dining room. And I'm going like, well, hold on a minute now. What's there in the dining room to steal? And he talked about the fact that people would come in, and it's, I've seen this done before. One of my fast food places I go to is Culver's, okay? And Culver's has a little area over to the side right next to it. It's almost everyone's the same, where you get your drinks, and there's a little area where there's condiments. You can get little packets of salt and pepper, but they have some really nice different condiments in those little squeeze packets. You know what I'm talking about? And
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
They have like mustard, and they have like ketchup, and they have something that I don't see anywhere else. They have mayonnaise in the little squeeze packets.
Disgusting. Mayonnaise is a disgusting condiment. Go ahead.
I've seen people literally grab a handful of it, almost empty out the little container that the packets are in, and stick it in their pocket. And, they take that home, and that's their ketchup for the next week. If they're going to do something at home, they don't buy Heinz at the the grocery store. They just steal the ketchup packets from the Culver's or wherever they're at. Now, some of the places, and once again, you're talking to the fast food junkie, some of the places have gotten to the point where people would say, like if they get chicken nuggets, like if you get nuggets at McDonald's or nuggets at Wendy's, you only get one little dipping sauce thing. And you'd say, can I have 4 of those? And they put signs up in the drive-thru that says, additional dipping packets, 25 cents a piece. Or, because of the fact, and Ron's point was that so many people would steal stuff out of the dining room that when the dining room was closed, A, they didn't have to clean up the mess, and B, they had no more theft anymore because nobody got into the restaurant. And I'm thinking to myself, interesting. And C, even though they were able to still run the drive-through, they ran it with a limited number of staff, and they were able to essentially increase the profit margin because of the fact that they didn't have the theft, they didn't have the stuff disappearing, and they could essentially, serve less customers, but they could serve fewer customers.
Less is volume, fewer is number. Right. Yeah, they could serve fewer customers.
Right, fewer customers with a higher profit ratio because their labor, and once again, now with all the things with $15 an hour minimum wage, see, this is the business thing in me. I go at a restaurant and I do a head count. Okay, there's 6 people working here. Okay, so in other words, right now, if we're talking, those people are making $15 an hour. 6 times 15 is $90. So, and then you throw in foodie, sui, gooey, ooey, all the different benefit things you have to pay and stuff like that, all the taxes, Social Security, all that kind of stuff. You're talking like $150 an hour. Okay, there's $150 an hour of labor there. Okay, then you go like, okay, they got the fryers, which are fueled by, natural gas. They got all the lights, stuff like that. Okay, let's say, and it's not unusual for a fast food restaurant to have a 5-figure electric bill a month. Can you believe that, John? 5 figures?
I can definitely believe it. Think of keeping all the food cool and hot.
Right. The freezers, refrigerators, the lights, all the kind of stuff, the electronics, the computers and stuff like that. It's just like, okay, people don't realize that. And you're going like, I'll be honest with you, I still am amazed that anybody in the fast food business can make any money, because I don't know how they do it. I mean, I really don't. Even if you go to like a nice restaurant or something like that, if you go to like a Texas Roadhouse or something like that, okay, you figure that they're going to get you, you're going to, for like a 12-ounce ribeye, what they call it, Texas ribeye or whatever the hell it is, Fort Worth ribeye, I think is what they call it, the Texas Roadhouse. A 12-ounce Fort Worth ribeye is like $25. Okay, have you priced meat at the grocery store lately?
Yeah, I sure have. Yeah, it's hard to know how they make a profit.
Yes, it's to the point where, like, unless they're getting like super wholesale deals on their meat, I'm just going like, okay, that same 12-ounce Fort Worth ribeye that if you go even at Wally World, it's like $18 or something like that. And you go like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know how people make any money at stuff like this. But
I think at a certain point, that's why you see casual dining like the Texas Roadhouses and the Fridays and such. That's obviously, I say obviously, but I don't know if it's obvious, but they're so sensitive to incremental changes in the economy and consumer confidence, because why would you drop $30 going to Fridays if that same meal, if you know that it cost you $22, last week? Like, nobody has that kind of money.
Well, hey, a personal example, okay? I go to Schnucks, and I always go down the aisle for the freezer aisle, and I look at sales on their frozen pizza, because I will not buy a frozen pizza unless it's on sales. On sale.
Yeah, the DiGiorno's are usually like $8, unless you get them on sale.
$8 or $9. I mean, yeah. I can grab my phone. I can use the coupon code, which I know at Domino's. I can get a large single topping pizza, hand crust, for under $8. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to consume any electric. I don't have to clean my oven after I do it. I don't have to clean my pizza cutter after I do it. I get it. It's in a box. I sit in my car, I eat my pizza, I drink my Diet Mountain Dew. Life's good, okay? You know what I mean? I mean, it's to the point where, when you're a bachelor like me and you live, I rarely eat dinner with anybody. I mean, I'm almost always eating by myself. Am I like a hobo or something like that, John?
No, not at all. I mean, I think that's the context of your life. And I think there's plenty of people who are, like, let's say, Brad, they live alone, but who would feel forced to once a week annoy their friends and acquaintances and be like, hey, anybody up for watching the game at Buffalo Wild Wings? Let's consume some average food and beer and watch a sports. Like, you don't feel the need to entertain people in the evening. I think it's normal. And why would you,
See, that's why I'm the strange duck that I am, because of the fact I'm not into sports, even though I owned a sports station once upon a time, which was a lot of fun, because people go, aren't you the guy that doesn't like sports? It's not that I don't like sports, it's just I don't live my life by sports. I could really care less, to tell you the truth.
No, you couldn't care less.
I couldn't care less. If you could
care less, that means you care, and it's possible to care less. We're gonna fix you with this, Brad. We're also gonna teach you the difference between fewer and less.
How about further and farther? Can you give me that one as well too?
No, I can't.
Okay.
I can't. I only went to a college prep school called Hazelwood East, Brad. I can't know everything. I'm just a Hazelwood high school kid.
John, I'm going to send you a picture. Hold on. I'm going to send it to this group text here right here. I'm going to send you a picture right now of where I was over the weekend, okay? And you are not going to believe. I personally took this picture. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me find it right here. Okay, I personally took this picture. Okay, take a look at the. Do you have your phone there in front of you?
I do. No way, Brad. You were at the Mecca,
Yes, I was at
and they
Hazelwood.
let you in past the gate.
I was at Hazelwood East High School on Saturday.
Now, was there something going on, or did you just drive through the lot?
If I told you why I was there, you won't believe me.
I won't believe you. Yeah.
I was there for Teachers Fair.
Oh, wow. And you're applying to be a teacher in the Hazelwood School District, right?
I interviewed with the principal at Hazelwood Central High School.
No way.
I did.
And that's for, is that for a janitorial job?
No, for teaching.
Oh, wow. And you're going to be teaching, like, this is a, like, adult education. They do, like, a night program or something?
No, this would be regular high school.
Okay. And where's the punchline?
No, there's no punchline. I did it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Matter of
Okay.
fact,
And you'll be spending the next few weeks scrubbing all your comments online about how teachers are idiots, right?
no, I'll still say teachers are idiots. No, I've never said
Now,
teachers.
Brad, you got to tell us about this. So I'm guessing they had a hiring fair at East.
Yeah, I've never said teachers were idiots. I've never said that.
I know, Brad. I'm exaggerating.
I just
we don't
say-
need to tread through.
I
that.
just
we
say-
only got a few minutes left.
I
I
was
want to hear about your application.
well. Hold it. Here's my thing. I say about teachers.
Okay,
They all
great.
complain that they don't have any money, but yet, according to Dave,
According to Dave
Ramsey,
the teachers what the heck. Okay,
They're-
can we talk about you now? Let's talk about your application.
it was interesting. I mean, it was sort of fascinating. See, first off, the Hazelwood School District has a terrible problem. They are understaffed. They can't find enough teachers. And I don't know if this is true of all schools, but Hazelwood has a terrible problem with this. But the interesting part of it was 4 or 5 different people. The people there, they're all youngsters. They're all much younger than me, and they don't know the history of their own district. And when they kept asking me, "Where did you go to school at?" I said, "I went to Hazelwood." And they go, "Hazelwood Central?" "No, I went to Hazelwood." And one
They
of
don't
the,
even know.
One of the women even said to me, she's one of the teachers. She says, "Well, there is no Hazelwood High School. It's Hazelwood East, West, and Central." When I went to school here, there was one high school. It was called Hazelwood High School, and they were like, "Really, really?" Now there was something
How did they
interesting.
not know that?
Well, you'd think they would know the history. Now, here's the other interesting thing. They have a sign outside when you walk into the gym area that's celebrating 50 years of Hazelwood East, and it says 1974 to 2024. That's BS because there was no high school there in 1974. That high school wasn't built. I think I looked this up on Wikipedia at least recently, and I think Hazelwood East officially opened its doors like in 77 or 78.
No, I think they're right, Brad. Because remember the high school was at Kirby Junior High.
No, it was not. It was never at Kirby Junior High because
Are you sure?
I can tell you the exact story because I was the last year when I graduated. They divided the school in what they called B, C, and D school. Okay, and that essentially was the precursor to the 3 high school system. B, I think I can't remember if I was in B or C school. I can't remember. One of them was.
And I'm interrupting you because we have the Wikipedia up. We have 2 minutes left. The school was established in 74 with the classes of 75 and 76 attending split. I'm preempting your story. Attending split class sessions in the existing Hazelwood High School building.
Yes, never at Kirby.
You're right, Brad.
Yes,
Hazelwood East new facility opened to students in the fall of 1976.
76.
Yeah, fall of
Okay.
76. So Hazelwood East existed in theory, but that class of kids attended. They drove off Newhall's Ferry Road, and they went to the Hazelwood High School building.
Right.
So that's your story, and that's the correct one.
Right. Okay. So the principal and the assistant principal interviewed me, and the assistant principal was like, I might as well have been
They're
on
both
other.
black, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, they were, and he was like totally disinterested in me. And the interesting thing was, before I could do that,
Uninterested, not disinterested, but
well,
uninterested.
I had to sit down. I was there for like 45 minutes filling out the application online. They have the most convoluted application system in the world. And let me give you an example. I think maybe this is like a barrier to entry kind of thing. If you can get through applying online, you've got a job because you've just accomplished something. And what's interesting was, what do I do all day long, John? I'm a computer guy. I run in this room I can look around. I have 5 computers that, some of
And
these.
2 of them work, yeah.
Right, 2 of them work. Okay. This system was so convoluted. It kept doing, one of the things was it had like things like tell us all your bachelor's degrees. And there were like 10 different, or not 10, but like 4 different areas. Bachelor's degree number 1, bachelor's degree number 2. If you didn't put And what was interesting in some of the spots you had to put in N/A, not applicable. In other spots you had to actually write it out, not applicable. Okay. In other areas, it asks you, and once again, if you didn't fill in every single blank, and some of them on some of the pages, I would going like, okay, there were like 20 things where I put in NA, not available, not applicable, zero, stuff like that. And it got to the point where one of the teachers who was in there, who was assisting people like me fill out this application online, he didn't even know what was going on. And a couple times we got to a page, and I was like there. I was like one of the first people there at 9 o'clock. So I was like one of the first in. And he's going through it, and they're going out in the hall, and they're calling people and stuff like that. Okay, in this field, you got to put in a 0, but in this field, you got to put N/A. In this field, you got to put not applicable. I'm going, God, this is complicated. So then I go back into the gym, and I go over, and they say, okay, who you, and I had a concierge lady who took me around and said, okay, go over here. And she took me to the Hazelwood High School thing. And these two gentlemen, the principal and the assistant principal, nice guys, totally disinterested in me. And when they asked me what I had been doing in my career, I said to them, okay, I've been in the broadcasting business for 52 years. So they're doing math on me. They're going like, okay, this guy is at least...
Yeah, he's old. He won't last long.
He's old. And then they asked me, one of the first questions they asked me was discipline in the classroom, how I would deal with discipline in the classroom. And I said to them, which was sort of interesting, I said, if I'm a good enough teacher and I engage the students, there won't be a discipline problem.
Oh, boy, the arrogance. I'm sure they love that. They're like, here's a classroom of 25 black kids. Good luck.
And the principal says, okay, explain what you mean by engage. I go, if I make it interesting, if I'm a boring teacher, they're not going to be interesting. But if I'm an interesting teacher and I can engage them and get them into what I'm talking about, there won't be a discipline problem. Because
that is adorable, Brad. Imagine how many well-meaning old white people came in with that attitude and quit after 2 weeks. It's adorable, Brad. You're going to be the teacher that everybody loves. You're going to be like Uncle Brad, and everybody, because of your wacky punchlines, everybody's going to respect you and not walk all over you in the first 2 weeks.
The only problem is I don't have the teacher certificate, and there was people there from St. Louis University and UMSL that you get this thing called teacher in residency. You know about this deal?
Yeah, I do know about it. Yep.
And it only costs you $20,000. So
yeah, what a deal.
It's like okay, that's it for me. I don't have 20 grand to throw at this. So anyway,
this is great news, because when the story started, I thought there might be a chance that Brad actually gets hired and we don't get to do the show anymore. But I think that we should probably keep going.
Okay, we got to get out of here, John. I've got to go put money in the Hoffman's pocket.
Oh, nice. You're going to go spend some money at the Hillerman's nursery.
No, I'm not. If I told you where I was going, which was owned by the Hoffmans, you wouldn't believe me.
You know what? Maybe you should tell us tomorrow. If you're up for it,
I
tell us tomorrow.
I will tell you tomorrow. Okay.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow, Brad.